Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here. Well, actually, Safi will be joining us shortly. She did another Safi thing. Well, actually, I don't know what the deal is and this will be a little rant, because I watched an episode of Chucky last week or the week before on her phone, and the ending cut off, and I did not get to see the last 5 minutes or so where they show this important detail, and Safi didn't see it either. And then in this week, she did not see Nadine get killed, and that was a big thing that happened in this episode. And it's the end of the episode. You have to see that, but for some reason, watching it on Hulu live, somehow it cuts it off. And it's really irritating. It's like, who would want to watch a show if it gets cut off at the end? What would that... it has to be some sort of a glitch, because there's no way that any sensical person would say, I'm going to watch a show, and I'm not even going to watch the last 5 minutes where a big important thing happens. It's really bizarre. And it doesn't have anything to do with the episode. It just has to do with the company or the Hulu or something. Very bizarre. So, this episode, unfortunately, it was a very big mixed bag. And that is because first off, I should just state this first. Last week and the week before, there are a lot of bad things on this show. There are a lot of things that, if this show was taking itself seriously, I'd be destroying the show on a weekly basis. I'd be, each video would just be Chucky, Episode 7, rant. Chucky, Episode 8, rant. And it would not be very fun, because the stuff that's happening now on Chucky is just so ridiculous. It's gotten so far away from what it was in the first movie that, it's kind of like, ugh. It's the same thing with Halloween, where honestly, I was really excited for getting a Halloween movie. I thought, even after this terrible Blumhouse trilogy, maybe we'll be able to get a good Halloween movie. I even had my own ideas of what a good Halloween movie would be. But then that Halloween Ends was so bad, and it was so unlike what Halloween is supposed to be, that it makes it so that I don't even like the Halloween franchise anymore, because I associate it with that movie. And so I don't even want to watch another Halloween movie anymore. And it's good that Chucky is not taking itself seriously, because that's the point where I would be at with Chucky now. If Chucky was trying to be serious with these terrible stories that don't make any sense, these woke agendas that they constantly push in the episodes, even though, especially this one, they have no place in the story whatsoever. Even when they do, they come off as preachy and forced and just obnoxious as hell. It's a good thing they're not taking themselves seriously. I'll say that with this episode, because, wow. That's all I'll say. Wow. Because this episode, to me, felt on the level of Cult of Chucky. And you guys know how much I despised Cult of Chucky, when I think still that movie was trying to take things seriously. So, this episode, it's going to be really hard to talk about this episode, because, number one, and I don't know, I'm in my old house, and there's a fly that's really irritating, And it reminds me so much of this episode where Chucky kills the fly and everything. Like, there's a really annoying fly, and it's been annoying me for the past, 10 minutes I've been in here, and if I could, I'd just go, and kill it like Chucky. So, number one, this episode has a lot going on in a bad way. It's so overly complicated, just like when it got near the end of last season, where there were so many plot points, so many characters, that it just became very muddled and messy. And it's worse on this, because in this, see, there it is again. And that's just going to be like a fun... If you guys get mad, I swear, I am not trying to... I hate it when reviews get interruptions or distractions. I am not doing this fly as a gag. This fly exists, and it's fucking pissing me off. So... this has so many plots, and just like I said with last season, one of the biggest issues of the show, looking at it from a serious standpoint, is that there's all these great little ideas. Like in this episode especially, in this episode you have Colonel Chucky. And remember, I said he is a great character, so awesome. Like, if you had had Colonel Chucky in Child's Play 3, that would have been epic. You know, because Child's Play 3, I really love Child's Play 3. I know that it also kind of has the tone of the show, but I really love that movie a lot. And, you know, Colonel Chucky would have fit right in. And last episode, it basically felt like Child's Play 3 Part 2. Like, it was so good. And they had this plot, too, where the kids splintered. And you had Jake and Nadine, and you had Lexi and Devin, and they splintered over, I don't think we should be helping this good Chucky. We should kill it. There is no such thing as a good Chucky. And then you had the other side that said, no, he's good. And so I really love that idea a lot. And I thought, this could lead somewhere interesting, because finally we might feel that these kid characters are in some kind of danger. Because that was another thing last season, was that we knew that Jake, Devin, Lexi, we knew that they weren't going to die. They were the main three characters. It's kind of the same for this season. You know, we know that they're not going to break up the gay couple by killing one of them. We know that they're not going to kill the best actress or actor, period, on the whole show. So there's not really very much suspense with that. But all these storylines, all these great ideas, they're all wasted because they get rushed. They get rushed to an end. So this episode, He Is Risen Indeed, it should have been called He Is Rushed Indeed, because the whole episode, it was just, okay, this plot line, it's going to get rushed to an end. This plot line, we're going to rush that. This plot line, we're going to rush that. And that's what the whole episode was. It was so irritating, because there were these moments of goodness, and there were these good ideas and good stories, and you couldn't enjoy any of them because they all just got rushed to an end. And all these things would just happen out of nowhere too. Like the way that they would rush these plots. Like they had spoilers, even though I've already spoiled the whole episode. I don't really care either. Buff Chucky fights Colonel Chucky, and it ends in 2 seconds. And the way that it just so happens randomly out of nowhere, and then it ends in 2 seconds, it's like, come on. Really? That was essentially reminiscent of first season, which I'll always reference, where the dad is killed by Sleepy Jr. and Chucky. Like, that was so anticlimactic. It could have been a fantastic fight. It could have been really intense battle. Like, I just watched the movie Barabbas 2 days ago. If you want to go see an example of a good fight, there's a fight in Barabbas where he fights Jack Palance, and it is really intense, and it is a fantastic fight. And if they had had a fight just at least like that, it didn't take very long. It was like a 5-minute fight. It didn't take that long to happen, but it was still very, very well executed, and it was intense, and it was hard to watch at some points because you're really worried for this character, and you want that other character to die so badly because he's creepy and insane. Well, in this Chucky episode, it's just like, oh, that's done. And then after that, the fight is over, okay? And then Colonel Chucky goes to deal with the kids, and you're like, uh-oh, what's going to happen here? And then all of a sudden, oh, Andy kills him. Like, just, oh, God. Oh, my God. Like, again, there are moments of goodness, like, just in general, like the acting with especially Chucky himself, the way that he's pulling off all these different variations of himself, just shows how he's a much better actor than basically almost everyone on the cast list. No other actor on this cast list would be able to play, like, let's say, Devin. Devin has become a big joke this season. He's become very overdramatic, like a stereotype, where he's just... He has these overdramatic arguments that are very stereotypical. Whenever you watch like a gay movie or show, you always have to have the gay person who he's very dramatic and jealous, and he gets in these hissy fit arguments. That's what Devin has become this season. Like, he's just a complete stereotype. Whereas in the first season, at least he did have some character. Now he's just complete trash. And I don't think that the actor who plays Devin could pull off playing Devin Part 2 or Devin Part 3. I think only that's something that probably Brad Dourif could do. So they totally wasted those characters, Buff Chucky and Colonel Chucky. Totally wasted. That was irritating because it's like, oh, really? Wow. Because after all these storylines have been wasted, you're left thinking, where is the show going to go from here? Like, there's really not that much left to do. Good Chucky, he's I don't even care. It's just so not Child's Play anymore. Like, that's the frustrating thing that I didn't really think about until I saw this person's reviews, is that he talked about, how far this has come from the original series, and it's like, he's right. Like, this just feels so wrong. It feels so wrong to watch something where, this could have been a good serious show. It could have been a good serious horror show with some comedy sprinkled in. Could have had more episodes. Could have had the storylines play out longer. There's the fly. It is sitting right on my leg and just crawling around. And now it's crawling on the phone. Now it's crawling back on the leg. Now it's on the phone again. What the fuck is this fucking fly doing? And if I move one muscle and I kill it, I have a tuna salad sandwich, and with my tuna salad sandwich, I could kill the fly, but you guys are probably going to have some audio disruption. I don't know if it's worth it to try to kill this fly. Okay, I'm going to try. I'm just going to... Oh, now it's going to crawl on the part... What is it? Now it's back on my leg again. Okay. I am going to try to kill this fly. I'm just warning you guys of the The audio disruption, it is so annoying. It's like, what is it doing? Oh, now it flew away. Damn it. Oh, now it just flew in my face. God. You guys see? Okay. So there is this story with Good Chucky going on, and it feels like he is the main Chucky of this season. Like, that was sort of the whole bait and switch that they were trying to pull, is that you thought, oh, this Good Chucky, he was just a recon Chucky. And then the real Chuckies you have to worry about are Colonel Chucky and Buff Chucky. But no. It turns out the real Chucky that they always had to worry about, and they still should just kill him probably. The real Chucky they have to worry about is Good Chucky. And so he did several things. I got to admit, I did like the Good Chucky storyline in this episode for the most part. They subverted things with him pretty well. They had this one part where he kills a fly, and obviously that's a reference to Psycho, and it's also a reference to Seed of Chucky, where Glenn says, I would never want to kill someone. I would never hurt the fly. God, I hated Seed of Chucky so badly, and oh God, the fact that they've turned the Chucky brand back into Seed of Chucky is just, it kills me. If there's a fly again, get away from me, you fucking piece of shit fly! I'm trying to do a review! What was I saying? Okay, he kills the fly. That was obviously a hint because he doesn't throw up. So it's showing that, maybe... God, I can't stand flies. Flies are like, you know what I'm gonna do? Safi is supposed to come in here after she finishes the episode. It's 17 minutes already. I don't think she paid attention. So I'm gonna put the blanket over my head, just so that the fly doesn't bother me. I'm sorry if the audio sounds weird. Now I'm gonna look like a ghost, the ghost of Chucky's past. So they also had this part where I loved all these subtle moments with Good Chucky where he does something evil and it's clearly hinting that he's probably either his brainwashing is wearing off or he was evil to begin with. And God, that fly just got on my leg. What the hell? It's targeting me. I swear it's targeting me. It's targeting. Okay. I'm gonna cry. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. So you had this part where Lexi is sitting there and she's really disheveled. And it's funny because Chucky's there and he's like, "Hey, Lexi, how's it going?" And she's just like, "Ooh, ooh." And then Chucky hands her some pills and he's like, "Here, these will help you feel better. Would you like some?" And she takes some, and that part was kind of stupid, though, because it was another thing that was rushed, where we already had the storyline that went on for episodes and episodes where Lexi is an addict. And then they had this part that was really, really good where Nadine helps her get off the drugs in a very Neil Breen-esque way. Well, now they just undid that in 2 fucking seconds. They just had it to where, oh, Chucky's gonna hand her pills, and oh, immediately she's gonna be an addict again. I thought that was stupid. I thought that was like a bad part of the season, because it's like, oh, that storyline was undone really quickly. Like, just everything in the show can be done and undone in such a rushed, really haphazard way, where like they showed a flashback where Andy is driving the Chucky truck, and he's going to crash it, and he says, "For Kyle!" And it was so cringeworthy watching that scene again, because obviously apparently Kyle didn't die for somehow. So, it's so cringeworthy how these stories, these characters, it doesn't really feel like they're in very much peril, because it's like you have these multiple characters who die, and then they just come back to life. Like, even Nadine, like, she had a pretty good death scene. That was probably the highlight of the episode, even though I could see it coming from how weird it was and how it was playing out in terms of, like, locking the door and the music they were playing and everything. It was very predictable in terms of that. But it feels like, maybe Nadine could come back to life in some way. Like, maybe Nadine has a twin or something. Like in Twin Peaks, where David Lynch, he really loved Cheryl Lee, and so then he came up with the other girl, Madison Bates. I think that... No, wait. What was that girl's name? What was the dark hair... Because you have Laura, and then you have, like, her cousin, and like, she was in for, like, 1 million episodes before she got killed off. And, they could do the same thing with Nadine, where Nadine comes back, and, she's Maydeen. Or she could be Megan. They could make her Megan, finally, because Safi and I, we both agree she looks like a Megan. She doesn't look like a Nadine. She looks like a Megan. So that would be pretty funny. I would applaud if they did that, because... Should we just go ahead and get to that? Well, let's just talk about Andy really quickly, because Andy... They had this whole storyline where... And I'm trying... Whole storyline, like whole rushed storyline, where Andy is being tortured. He's been tortured for a year by Colonel Chucky and by the psychiatrist woman. And we'll talk about the psychiatrist woman. She's like an anti-Dr. Loomis, essentially. And he's torturing Andy by, like, carving out pieces of his flesh, his skin, and he says, once I reach down to where there isn't any skin anymore, I'll have to cut deeper or something. It's very, very dark. And, that's something where if that was treated seriously, it could have been a very dark storyline to have that happen. And, of course, Andy looks like Charles Lee Ray almost, because he has this long hair and this fake-looking beard. He looks very interesting because... you think there could have been a really interesting storyline where you have good Chucky, and then at one point Andy actually finds good Chucky, and he sees him, and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was thinking they could have had, like, an interesting story where maybe Andy is, like, trying to kill good Chucky even though he's good. And then he would become kind of like the villain or something. I don't know. Like, that seemed like it could have been pretty interesting to happen. But, of course, nope. No. So, Devin and Lexi, they set Andy free. And they take him back to the Christ's home for the incarnate Lord. And... I did like the little scheme that they played where they're like, no, this is a homeless guy. We're trying to help him. What made me wonder was why the main priest, the fucking brother from Ben and Arthur, why didn't he think, like, is this guy a pedophile? Because, like, it's pretty weird how they're just bringing this random adult into this, like, children's home. And, like, they've been meeting with him in the woods or something. It's like, that's pretty suspicious. It's pretty suspect, So I thought that was kind of weird. But still, it was a good scheme. It was a good idea. And it was funny because then the brother. He was the brother from Ben and Arthur. Now the fly just flew up my shirt. The fly the what the hell? The fly just. Let me explain what just happened. So I was sitting here trying to review this. Safi is nowhere to be found for some reason too, which is odd. She's probably like sleeping or something because she's fucking sleepy Safi, like usual. But I was sitting here trying to review, and all of a sudden I feel and I look over and it's like, oh shit, the fly was like trying to fly up my shirt. It was in the corner of the couch. It flew into this little tiny crevice, and he was trying to get down there so that he could get inside my shirt. You fucking sickos. So anyways, Andy is there, and we will talk about the wokeness too, because there is some woke crap. One of the woke crappy things that happens that really takes out of the episode is that the brother from Ben and Arthur, he tells Lexi and Devin, when you go to your rooms, no funny business, no shenanigans, go straight to your room. And obviously, it's like, okay, that's an understandable thing to say after they've just run off, left campus without permission. That's a pretty generic thing for someone to say. It doesn't really have anything to do with, him being like a jackass or being like a sexist or racist or something. But then they're walking, and then Lexi is like, shenanigans? Funny business? Ugh, the patriarchy. And it's like, what does the patriarchy have to do with, like, him telling you to just go straight to your room? Like, how does that make any sense whatsoever? It is just so, it is so bizarre, random, out of nowhere. It almost, to me, if the actress wasn't so good, it would almost lead me to believe that, like, that was something that the actress came up with, like, as an improv or something. Because that's like, whenever you get improv nowadays, it's usually pretty bad. And it doesn't really fit with the script or anything. And, like that Ghostbusters movie where it was just 2 hours of improv crap. It never really works out well because, they're not writers. Actors aren't writers. And this was just so stupid. The actress who plays Lexi, I wouldn't think that she'd be so terrible that she'd come up with this crappy line. Like, I have a lot more faith in her as an actress. If it were from Devin, or if it were from Jake, or if it were from... And by the way, guys, Jake has not really done the Jake face this season very much. But I forgot to say he did do the Jake face last episode. It was very funny. And... I mean, honestly, they could actually, like, make that into a joke. Like, because I know that they're not taking this seriously, and so they could actually have him do that all the time, and they could just make it into a joke, and it would be fine with me. It was the fact that it was trying to be serious last season, where he's making this hilarious face where he turns his head to the side, he closes his eyes, and he goes, eee! And it's supposed to be serious, and it's just so, LOL. Laugh out loud. So there was that random patriarchy comment that was so stupid and pointless. It's like, it doesn't make sense. Like, if you're going to have these stupid-ass agendas that nobody wants in their entertainment, at least have it make sense. But that didn't make sense at all. It didn't have any sense to it whatsoever. It was so nonsensical. It made me sick. I don't know what I don't know. And then, of course, you have the teacher. And remember, guys, I thought, she could be a pretty good character at first. I thought she's the nice teacher. it's cool how, we thought that this place was just going to be all negative and that they were going to be like really strict and mean and just overly, obnoxious like those hardcore religious fanatics are. They're I don't know what's worse, like vegans or religious fanatics. Like both of them are just like ugh. But instead they had this really nice teacher, and her character has now become like another stereotype where she is the teacher. I mean, not the teacher in terms of, I know she's a teacher, but she's like the lecturer, where her only purpose in the show now is to lecture the brother from Ben and Arthur on how wrong he is, and how, but this there's no point in what you're doing. What you're doing is wrong. You shouldn't be doing these stupid things. And it's like, yeah, I agree, but it's like that's all that she's been doing now in these past 2 episodes is just, she'll stand there, she'll be like, that isn't right. The Bible says this. That isn't right. No, I think you should be doing this. And the brother from Ben and Arthur, he's just like, whatever, but the Bible also says this and this. And it's like, ugh. I wish that her character would stop just doing that, because otherwise, just kill her off. Because, like, we really don't need to have, we have a killer doll running around. We don't need to have the story where you have a nun and she's, like, smarter and wiser than the guy in charge type of thing. Because that's just been done over and over and over again. And, she's a good actress and everything. I think she's pretty good, but I'm talking about the writing. And so, speaking of the writing, see how much there is to talk about? I've only gone like halfway through the episode, like shit, and Safi is still up to some fucking shenanigans in the car outside. So, what should I discuss next? This episode. I'm tired of Chucky. It's gotten to the point where it's just so bad that, like, I don't even have to try anymore. I don't even have to, go, I did not like that. I did not like that. Like, no, I don't even have to try. I just have to say, there's this part where Lexi says the patriarchy out of nowhere, and it's like, you guys already know. Like, okay, that's stupid. That's stupid. Well, there's also this plot with the psychiatrist, and she's evil, apparently. She's working with Chucky. That's another funny thing, is that you have these 2 female characters. They're both working with Chucky's, and yet you have Lexi walking around saying, the patriarchy! It's like, how does that make any sense? Like, what about these 2 women who are working with Chucky to commit evil? Like, do they just not count because they're not men? Like, I don't understand. So the psychiatrist, she's even wearing an outfit like Dr. Loomis. She's wearing, like, this trench coat. And it was really funny because the whole episode, all I could think about was Dr. Loomis, Dr. Loomis, Dr. Loomis. And so they actually had a very good idea where in the first season they kind of just made it look like Chucky turned evil, and he was inevitably going to become evil, and that one killer awakened things in him when he broke into his house and everything. That was pretty dark. But now they have changed it to where what I would say is that he could have stopped killing after he killed his mom if he had gotten the proper help. But instead, he went to this home for the Christ's incarnate Lord, and he got the help of the psychiatrist who's evil. And so she turned him even more evil because she's basically the anti-Dr. Loomis. she's going to be there with Chucky, but she's evil. She wants him to be evil as well. Oh, God, I don't know what that was. God, that was creepy. I was like, what the fuck was that? And so now that Safi's going to join the review. Safi?
Okay, well, I don't know what happened, but I didn't see that part. I didn't see the end. Well, I saw it now, but...
Yeah, you saw it now.
Can't believe it.
What? I was like, why?
That's sad.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, were you sitting in the car crying?
Yeah.
Are you gonna cry?
I just watched it.
You gonna cry?
No, I'm not. Are you?
No. I'm gonna cry in fits of laughter. That's
Oh, God.
Safi.
Oh, cold.
There's
House is freezing.
There's a fly in here too, and it just makes me think of the episode where there's like that fly and Chucky kills it. I wish Chucky was here.
And they said Chucky didn't puke.
So Safi, I've already gone through like almost the whole episode.
Okay, well, I don't know. I didn't like it. I don't know how to explain it.
I didn't like it either.
I thought there was just there were multiple Chuckies. I guess there were 3, right? There's a good one, or at least he was.
It's not really clear what Chucky is doing there, what his plan is.
Yeah.
I guess Colonel Chucky had a plan, but he's out of the picture now.
Yep.
After that whole Rush story.
And then the Chucky that the nun thought was the savior, he was poisoned.
Yeah, that's something we didn't really talk about in the last episode, was the fact that this other nun, the white woman nun, she thought Chucky was Jesus or something.
I didn't understand that either.
It didn't make any sense whatsoever. It was very, very out of nowhere, sort of like it was for comedic relief. But no, she actually thinks that, and that really goes nowhere because now he's dead. So, and then they had this thing where she has like a foot fetish or something. So she's sucking on Chucky's toes and things, and it's like, okay, that's really weird. There's the fly! There's the fly! There's the fly!
I'm not worried about a fly, okay? It's probably cold.
So that was really bad. That didn't make any sense. And as I said with the psychiatrist, what's her motivation? Like, what? She doesn't have any motivation for what she's doing other than she's evil.
Or she's sick.
She's
doesn't
sick.
Like the kids.
She
doesn't really like kids. So she's rebelling. She doesn't want to.
It's a mess. This show's a mess. It's confusing. It's all over the place. Then we haven't even talked about. Oh, Safi, turn off your fucking phone. The one thing I haven't talked about yet is the girly sideshow where you have the girl playing 2 parts, and she's with Nika and Kyle, who's apparently alive. Kyle! Oh God, there's a fly! There's a fly! No, get out of my face! Get out of my face, fly! Turn off your phone. I'm gonna turn it off for you. Here, turn it off. Turn it off.
He's telling me again that this person is coming here at 3.
Give me that. Turn it off. God, see, I was doing a review for 35 minutes, and you come in here and you
I didn't do anything wrong.
You turn it into some sort of
I don't know how I missed that. I must have fallen asleep because I was so confused, and I think it's terrible that girl got killed. And I don't know. He acts like he's kind of sorry, but then I think he's sorry, not sorry. Chucky.
Yeah, because good Chucky, it's been a debate whether is he good or bad, and then at the end, they have this really hilarious thing where Nadine is following Chucky, and she's like, Chucky, no! And she follows him to the upper part, what do you call it? The clock tower, the bell tower, I don't know, the top tower, and Chucky's sitting in the window, and you know what's going to happen as soon as you see her in the room, is you know that she's going to fall, Or maybe she'll fall on accident, and then they'll think, oh no, he's evil, and he's not, or something. Maybe that could have happened. But no, he kills her, throws her off. I thought that was a great scene. Just not really effective for me, other than the fact that, oh no, one of the only good actors on the whole show is gone.
I
No.
Her and Lexi.
Now we're stuck with Jake and Devin. Ugh.
Oh. See how much we really like them. And it's not a matter, they're not unlikable. They just aren't very good at acting. Okay?
Well, their characters are written terribly, so...
And that might have something to do with it. It may not have anything to do with them.
It's been ever since...
It's to be the way they're written.
And it's because of, number one, because of a bad foundation, because season 1 was a terrible foundation, and you're automatically supposed to care for them now. You don't, because season 1 was so trash.
Yeah, I still like... Ow, you're hurting my arm. I still like Lexi, and she did get more acting, and I didn't think she got a lot of acting in this episode, but...
Why are you talking away from the camera?
She did get She did get enough acting, and she's just really good at it. She's just so much better. I guess, well, they don't have a drug problem, so there she has that. And Nadine was helping her with it by using herself as an example and her mother. And then...
And now Nadine's gone.
And Nadine is gone, but, I mean, you see that.
No, there's the fly again!
You see that, but she's so upset about Nadine, and, she's just so much better at acting, and...
Yeah, I know.
And she didn't... Really, she didn't have a lot of lines or a lot of presence, but just what little she had, or medium, I'd say. She did really well.
And then they had this part at the end where you think automatically good Chucky is evil, and that's the whole twist.
I don't know.
But you don't know, because he does this turn where, oh no, what did I do?
How could I have done that?
And so they showed, the fly got on my arm.
Jesus Christ, you're worried about a damn fly?
Because it's annoying.
Oh, well, you'll get over it.
It's annoying.
Okay, and?
I saw the preview, and they're going to do like an exorcism, and so...
Oh, so you did see... you saw a preview for next week. I didn't see that either.
I found it on YouTube.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to look. I don't... Like I said previously, I don't really look at those a lot, and I don't watch trailers.
Maybe we'll see that...
So I don't have any expectations.
Maybe we'll see that there's like an evil spirit inside. I don't know. I don't even care.
Either. I don't know, but what's going to happen when Mika gets there?
I don't know.
She's possessed by Chucky, and you have a Chucky there.
God, I hate this show.
And all you've done now, especially in this episode, is we've knocked down one Chucky, two Chuckies,
and then a Nadine.
One more.
We knocked down a Nadine.
Yeah. So,
but that's not the last Chucky. There's like thousands of other Chuckies.
No, but in this house.
But how do we know that the other Chuckies aren't going to come there as well?
I don't know. I thought they
said I don't know.
I just saw him as... They said that he had gotten rid of all of them. The admiral or the captain.
No, I don't think so. I don't
that's
know.
what
I don't
actually
know.
Is it Devin said. He remember he and Lexi went in the woods and they saw the evil psychiatrist or whatever she's supposed to be, and that colonel or whatever he is, Chucky, the bald Chucky, and from watching them and listening to them, they came up with the fact that the Colonel Chucky got rid of all the other Chuckies. Oh, I don't know.
So now let's talk about the very, very uninteresting girly side show with Nika, the double toil and trouble girl, and then Kyle.
I don't what to say about it. It doesn't...
They have this, like, conversation at the table that's really queer where, like, let's turn her into Chucky and make it so that Chucky talks to us. And then it just goes nowhere. It's just so pointless, and it's like, okay, this whole scene was pointless.
I guess that's why I didn't really think much of it.
It's like, what, did Jamie Lee Curtis force them to put this scene in there?
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
So, that was trash. So, I've already talked about basically everything in the episode. Because
I don't think there's much to talk about.
Well, what to talk about
it's just the Chuckies and they're disappearing one after another.
Is that there's a million stories. They all have gotten rushed to an end prematurely.
And they're convoluted and hard to understand because none of them, there's no...
It's unsatisfying, too.
Yeah. They're just, there should have been more focus on one. And maybe a little bit of two. Like the Colonel comes, he wants to wipe everybody off the map, including competing Chuckies. That's a story, a clear story.
Yeah.
And it just...
Instead, it's like...
I don't know what it is.
That's just one... That's just one of 1,000 storylines in the show.
And the guy who they had captured, who's the child actor grown up, and was driving the truck, and this Colonel Chucky kept him alive.
Well, they had this weird scene with him where the woke nun is treating him, and she sees that he's been, like, tortured and brutalized, and it's almost like nothing has happened to him. Like, it's almost like, oh, it's just a little scratch. It's just a little scratch. She has to dab with the towel.
God, I didn't understand that. I mean, they were eating him.
Yeah, they were torturing him for a year.
It was Hannibal.
They were
people
for a year, Safi. For a year.
For a year?
Yeah, they said that. They said torture for a year.
Oh my God.
And it's like it just got a little scratch.
Well, I was gonna say I thought maybe they were. Because on Hannibal, anybody watched that, they were eating that woman's leg. And I thought they were eating his leg. Because he did say something when they were doing it. He said the leg parts, if you get hungry, the leg is really good or something like that.
I don't know.
The Colonel said that.
Safi, why even try to make sense of this crap?
I don't know.
So I would...
Because that's what I do.
Well, I would give this episode a D because it was just it was terrible. It was all over the place. It was a mess. It was very unsatisfying after last episode. Even though it's entertaining, even though I know that they're not taking it seriously, it was still disappointing.
I don't like that. Why do it if they're not going to take it seriously?
No, like they're not taking it seriously. Like they're making it a comedy. So it's like, oh, ha, 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 ha. Who cares? It's funny. It's jokes. Ha, 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 ha. It's a apocalypse now.
I couldn't believe it too. They showed like a burning jungle.
Yeah, that was like a joke. That was all a joke.
That was like Apocalypse Now.
They're doing it on purpose, Safi.
I know, it's just unbelievable. I gave it a C-.
Really?
Just because of Lexi, I thought she did an excellent job.
Safi, Lexi was in the episode for... She's the patriarchy, bitch.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, like, what did it mean, Safi? All of a sudden...
all the crap that they say.
All of a sudden.
These shows... And I'm just I'm gonna let that go in one ear and out the other.
Out of nowhere, she's like, shenanigans, detours, patriarchy.
I think she was talking about the Catholic Church.
What do you mean?
Well,
what are you talking
about?
Like that, Safi? They just left campus. He's telling them bitches, get back to your room.
But everybody had to get back to the room.
No, but he's telling them, no shenanigans, no funny business. You just go straight to your room. Meaning, don't try to leave again. Like, there was this one bitch in our high school where she left in the middle of class in someone else's class. She left in the middle of class and went and got herself Taco Bell, and then came back to class. And it's like, excuse me, that bitch, she should be chastised, and she should be told go straight back to class.
Well, everybody
no
else
shenanigans, no funny business. And then with this bitch, with Lexi, she all of a sudden, out of nowhere, patriarchy! It's like these bitches, they just can't go one day without talking about patriarchy, or feminism, or sexism. Like, they just can't go one day acting like a normal human being. Like, just imagine if, like, male characters in these movies and shows, imagine if all they did and everything they're in was just talk about, like, feminazis and fucking, bitches and shit. Like, if they talked like that, then women wouldn't like that either. And so it's weird how, like, the female characters, they all do that now, as if that's some sort of a expected thing that they have to do. It's really irritating.
It'll stop. It won't last. Really, I know this.
Safi.
Come on, Marco.
Ow! So, Safi, do you have any closing thoughts on Chucky?
No.
He has risen indeed.
I hope that it improves.
He has risen indeed, Safi.
I don't even know what that's supposed to mean.
He has risen indeed.
Oh, well, I guess we're talking about the Chucky that she thought was our Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
Because he was dead. Okay, let go.
Yeah. So you have any...
I don't know what to say. I just hope it gets better because I want to like it.
It took a nosedive. It just took a nosedive, a huge nosedive.
Well, they just, they don't have that many episodes.
Yeah, that's the problem.
They're just trying to do too much and too little.
If you want to do this much, you need like 24 episodes. Like,
yeah, you sure need more than 6.
Like a normal show. No, it'll be 8 episodes.
Okay.
Which is funny because it will go on one week after American Horror Story ends, even though American Horror Story started after.
Cut it out.
After Chucky started, and it just shows how the network for American Horror Story really didn't like this season either, which is hilarious.
It's very dark. Very dark.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is because
Safi, don't do it.
We're not talking about that now anymore. We're talking about Chucky. Chucky's not American Horror Story.
No, I'm talking about how it's funny the fact that American Horror had more episodes, and yet it's going to end next week, whereas Chucky, since it didn't air 2 episodes a week, it's going to still be going on after Horror Story is over.
Oh.
So that's funny to me. So anyway, Safi?
Well, if you like this podcast or video or audio or whatever, give it a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers.
Or if you're a Chucky fanboy, give our video a thumbs down.
Well, I don't know. Either you're going to be honest with yourself or you're not. And if you're dishonest in any way, people will know. They won't believe what you say. They won't take you seriously.
Safi.
That's why we like to invite all kinds of comments and opinions on what we're watching because we want to hear what everybody thinks about it. What their honest opinion is, not some made-up thing that isn't really the truth. And so, anyway, goodbye, everybody.
Bye!